In today's video, we're working on a Nintendo Switch Lite. This thing was sent in via mail because it doesn't charge. The referral source was YouTube Shorts. So, under a quick visual inspection, let's take a look here. As I try to hold this steady, I'm sure you can see one of the pins on the USB port has been out of shape. I always do a visual inspection of the USB port before plugging anything into it, because when there's a damaged USB port and you plug power in, you might send voltage to parts of the motherboard that were not intended if you have crossed pins or something like that, and that's how you cause additional damage. Now, I can't necessarily know if the customer didn't already do that. I mean, they probably did, trying to plug stuff in to get it to charge, right? But what if the USB port is damaged? I got to replace it. So what's the point of plugging anything into it at that point? There's no point at all. So we're going to move forward with replacing the USB port, and we'll go from there, see if there's additional damage. To do this repair, we use a hot air rework station, and we heat from underneath. You can heat from on top, but that battery connector to the right there, you don't want to melt it, right? So the temperature that I'm using doesn't really matter, except that it's hot enough to melt the solder, but low enough to not cook the board. It's going to vary from station to station. The station that we sell on our website, which I have used and would work great for this, will use a different temperature than the station that I'm running on my workbench right now. So getting into temperature doesn't really too much matter. But I want to wait until those are all melted. All the pads look good. Now we're going to take the replacement, put that on there, and you need to let this heat long enough to let all of those pads adhere. So I'm putting more flux because that's going to help the solder flow the holes properly. Then I'm going to make sure that this is aligned. Now I'm going to hold pressure. It doesn't have to be a lot, but I'm holding pressure to make sure that all of the pins, including the hidden row, seat to the board properly. Because if you pull the heat too quickly, then you're going to have a dry connection. You want to make sure that the solder wets properly on all of the pins. Then I'm going to remove the heat. I'm going to continue holding pressure until I see all of the solder harden. And after I see all the solder harden, which is right about now, I'm going to count to like 10 at least. I don't want any cold joints. I want all of the joints to be heated properly and properly cooled down before I release the pressure. All right. I'm actually going to come back. I'm going to add a little bit of solder to these joints because I don't think that they flowed all the way. And I want to make sure that there's plenty of solder top and bottom. All right, so I'm going to re-hold the pressure. And then I'm going to remove the heat again. And you can already tell those joints in the back look a lot better. Now the ones on the front, I can touch up with an iron really easily. And it's not that it won't hold, it's just quality of workmanship, right? So I want it to look excellent. So I like these front legs to flow really nicely. I like them just like that. That's how I like them to look. The reason being is I know that people play with switches plugged in, and that cord's going to get jostled around and whatnot. And I want that port to be anchored really strong so that they don't put any stress on the pins that actually make the data and charging voltage connections on the motherboard. So I want it anchored really good. So without having to plug this, reassemble it, I have this tool, right? It's going to read the USB port. And come on, can I get that to focus? Okay. So 8 and 17 being OL is totally normal. Those on a regular switch or a switch OLED have to do with the system docking, but on the switch Lite, that data path is empty. So OL is totally normal. And I think this thing will probably charge. I'm going to show you how we bench test a Nintendo Switch circuit board without having to put it back in the housing. So to test charging, you have to connect a battery, right? Then I have the original Nintendo charging cord, which is 15 volts, and I'm going to use a digital tester here, which it doesn't matter which one you buy. But what's going to happen here is we're going to plug it in, and we're looking for 15 volts. If it pulls 5 volts, then we know there's a problem with the M92 chip. Then it's going to show amperage amount, and it varies based on the charge level of the battery. And when you plug a Nintendo Switch in that is turned off, it turns on. Well, when the Nintendo Switch turns on, it stops charging for a moment, and then it starts charging again. So you'll see that behavior on this charging meter. You'll see what I mean. So we plug it in, and we're going to look for 15 volts. And it's at 0.48 amps. Now, when the system boots, it stops charging for a second, and then it starts again, and it comes back at a higher amperage. So right now, I already know that this system is turned on. If it were a regular switch or a switch OLED, I could actually put it on a dock and see it on a TV. But with the Switch Lite, I can't do that. Right now, I just know that the system is turned on based on the behavior of the charge meter. So we're going to put it back in the housing and verify results. But I'm pretty confident. So listen, at this point, if you're still with me, I would say it's because you're either entertained or you're learning something. And if I've accomplished either of those two things, I feel I've deserved a subscribe from you and a like on the video and a comment maybe, because my channel is very young. At the timing of this video, I only have like 30 or 40,000 subs, and I'm trying to get more traction on the long form video. So if you're still with me, please do that, and we'll jump right back to the results. All right, here we are plugged in. You can see the charging symbol in the top there. This repair is done. If you'd like to organize your repair, you go to our website, dvdgameexchange.com, and you don't need to get a quote. We have Switch charging repair listed right there. You place an order. It doesn't cost anything to order the repair. Then once you do that, you get an email with the mail-in instructions. We even have a prepaid mail-in kit if you want to go that route. And then you send it to us. We do the repair, and we invoice you after the repair is done. All right, thanks for watching. Watch us on the next one. We'll do something different.